Hey, this is Power Card, aka Project Pat, and you're listening to the Baltimore Beatdown Podcast, the best Ravens podcast on the planet.
That's pretty incredible. In fact, it's Lamar-velous.
Thank you, guys.
All right, welcome on back to another edition of the Baltimore Beatdown Podcast. It is Wednesday, my dudes, December 9th. My name is Jake Luke. I'm joined by Spencer Nathaniel Schultz, who had himself a fun little night. We're going to have a fun little night here because guess what? The Ravens just got a W, first one in over a month, and we're going to ring this in right here for our audio listeners. An IPA in the hand of just my beautifully haired friend and a handle of whiskey in my hand. Let's do this. Jack Daniels, Tennessee.
Let's fucking do it, baby. Akira the Great, we're ready. That's what we need. It's been 1 week since we recorded. Normally 10 days since we've had a fucking Sunday game.
We recorded like 2 nights ago.
We did. We recorded last night, but we have not had any normalcy to this schedule. The boys are coming on. Boober bomb, boober bomb, boober bomb, boober bomb. Gang, 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 gang. But at this point, it was it was a fun night, ultimately. I have gotten over the furiousness, the actual blood that boiled inside of me with Dez Bryant being yanked after, of all people, Ryan, whatever his name is, from freaking the Baltimore Ravens, the PR guy, the head honcho of there.
Ryan Mink, put some respect on his name.
Ryan Mink puts out a photo of Dez Bryant hugging Cowboys staff, the boys, hugging, holding, commiserating. Fallout Boy.
Watching,
2016.
Waiting, commiserating. Say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights out.
Carry me. Dez Bryant is fucking out. I still am. I'm still furious. I don't understand. That's the best way to put it. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to drag you guys' ears on. I don't get how Dez Bryant is the one who sits out of this game. You pull him during warm-ups. He's hugging people. He's dapping people up. He's catching footballs. He's throwing footballs back. You yank him. And do I think that he ultimately makes this a different game? Not necessarily. That's not why I'm upset. I'm just upset for him, man. And there's people who are dying of starvation. There's people who have died of COVID. I get it. I'm going to sound like a spoiled little fuck here. But you just have to feel for the guy at this point. He's been a Model A citizen. And this gets taken away from him.
Job Bryant.
Job Bryant.
Does that have legs?
Job, J-O-B-E.
Job,
Job has some similar stuff happen in a banana stand. It feels like Dez Bryant is in a freaking banana stand at this point. Like, how he's in.
Like Ron Howard is just like narrating his life. And then Dez caught COVID right before the game, and he couldn't play against the Cowboys, which he was really looking forward to. And then George Michael said, "What's going on here?"
And then Lamar Jackson said, "All right, Dez, you can't play, buddy. Let's figure it out."
Promptly after that, Hollywood Brown was revealed to be a never nude after scoring a touchdown. What a wild turn of events that was. What a great show.
A never nude. Amazing call. But it was just nonsensical that they were able to single Dez out so quickly, so precisely, right before kickoff, yank him out, and
you're 100% right. Like, the thing is, like, you're coming at it from the angle of, like, it sucks that he didn't get to play the game, and that is 100% part of it.
Beyond that, though, it's
like, if you're not going to play,
the angle that irritates me even further, I'm going to cut you off, is that they single Dez out. Dez is hugging people, catching footballs in the locker room.
What I'm saying.
Like, no close contacts. He didn't have his buzzy thing on.
So were you at the you were at the bar, right? So you weren't, were you plugged into the pregame show at all?
I was on the way and then went over to Green Turtle Ocean City, and I was like, it was like 7:35. I was in my room. They announced that Dez isn't playing. I start getting pissy, and then I get there and it's like, oh, officially Dez Bryant not playing, like blah, 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 blah.
So I asked,
like 7:55.
I don't usually watch the pregame show, but like this is obviously a weird game, and like I had plenty of time on my hands, so like I'm sitting there watching it, and like all this shit starts to break. The Fox guys are like, they don't know what to do. Like it comes out literally like 30 minutes before the game is supposed to be played. They have this whole package of like Dez talking to Gonzalez and like talking about his journey, and they're like, oh, we're just gonna run this anyway. Jay is there on the set, and like he's their insider, obviously, so they turn to him for like stuff usually. They're talking to Jay. And they're like, Jay, like, why can they play this game? Like, if Dez is tested positive, like, what is the deal with contact?
Like, whoa, no, don't talk about that.
No, yeah, they basically like they didn't say that outright. And Jay, like, God bless the guy, friend of the show, we love Jay. He's like standing there, like, yeah, well, here's the thing: is I heard from the league that they're confident that the contact tracing has not occurred and the buzzer was not placed on, but they feel confident in the game and kickoff and let's go. It's gonna be a good game.
Strahan, word for word, said, "How do they play this game? We just saw Dez in close contact with people." And Howie and literally Howie went like the Jack Nicholson classic gif was like, no.
Menifee was like, they were all like, literally right before they're cutting to the game, the pregame show was like, so they're just gonna play, like they're just good to play this game, and everyone's like, yeah, and they're just like, they're silent. They didn't know what to say. It was so weird. And like maybe it'll turn out fine, but like, and maybe it'll even be a false positive, which people have speculated. I think that's maybe a possibility here.
I mean, sure, it could be a positive positive. It could be a negative positive. It could be anything. But how do you? It just shows the lack of transparency. And when I say lack of transparency, it shows the fact that we have 10 sheets of black freaking curtain suffocated against our eyes, to the sense that Dez Bryant, as Ryan Mink tweeted out, sorry, Ryan, it got screenshotted.
The receipts are pouring in.
The receipts are 1,000%.
We are Ryan Mink fans on this show, but we got you. We got you on that one, buddy.
I'm sorry, Ryan, but at this point, Dez is hugging everyone he possibly can, and I don't blame him for that. I don't. He tweets out one of his. He goes on a tirade, and to be honest, it could have gotten a lot worse. It could have gotten a lot worse. You have to give him thumbs up, approval, everything for continuing to conduct himself in like a peaceful, PC manner that doesn't get him in any trouble. Dez Bryant, but he ends up tweeting out like he's like, I don't do anything. And that is kind of the way that the entire United States feels. And we could go into deep context about that, but he ultimately says, I do the same thing every single day. And we're like, buddy, I'm just sorry. I just feel bad for Dez. I feel terrible that he didn't get to run one route against the Cowboys.
I'm looking at Dez's timeline here. So from 8 hours ago, Dez Bryant retweets a video from the Ravens, one of their like press conference videos that they cut together. It just says, quotes, "I'm extremely thankful," and like has a clip from him. I'm not going to play it. 4 hours ago, this is right before it's about to kick off, essentially. "Tell me why they pull me from warming up so I can go get tested. My shit come back positive. I tested positive for COVID.
My shit come back positive too, I swear to God." Yeah,
listen, we don't have to get into that. He tweets that out, and like no news had broken on this. He broke the news, and it's literally like when Marlon did it. It's like, what the fuck? 4 hours. Right. The crazy thing is I have the same damn routine. This shit do not make sense to me, like you said there. Then the game is like, I think right about to kick off. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it a quit for the rest of the season. I can't deal with this. That's tough.
At that point, I was like, buddy, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. I feel you. This is fucking horrible. The football gods are stacked against you, but the wherewithal he ends up having, we'll get into. It makes me feel good. Later.
Yeah.
Keep going.
It's going to be good. Since I tested positive for COVID before the game, do the game stop or go on at NFL? I love how he's like expecting to get like an answer from the NFL official Twitter account, which just tweets out like highlights and fucking Chevy ads. Like he's going to get some like response from whatever intern at Park Avenue.
No, I respect it. Fuck them. Give it to them.
I like it. No, I like it. It's just like a funny move. A little bit after that, maybe the most memed tweet of all time from Dez, and probably for the future of all time from Dez. I'm about to drink some wine and cope, which everyone is getting their jokes off with that. That was a great tweet. Another good one that I got some traction on. Since I'm out, do you guys want to hear about my businesses I've been working?
Fuck yeah, we do.
Dez has just got a really unique opportunity he wants to chat with you about. It's only going to take a couple moments of your time. Some really cool timeshare opportunities down at Sea Island that he wants to talk to you about. 2 hours ago, so an hour after that, I got COVID, everyone. Some dude tweets.
That's when it really sunk in. That's when it sunk in. That's when it all manifested.
Yeah, and then like somebody tweets the laughing emojis at him. He quote tweets it with more laughing emojis. Right after that, I'm not drunk yet. I only had one glass of wine. I'm getting my business stuff together to share with you all. LOL. A little bit after that, Kyle Jarvis tweets at him, Dez, just tell us you're coming back, LOL. He then quote tweets that. Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm being smart. Good for you, Dez. If you guys are with me today, then he does an engagement hack where he like calls for people, which like if you run a podcast social media account like we do, like you know all the engagement hacks. If you guys are with me tonight, post me your glass of wine. Which he got ample people, myself included, and many friends of the show tweeting at him his glasses of wine. So that's a lot to go through. But then
I'm not going to lie. I love the city. I love the state. I'm from here. But if you're just like bulling in Baltimore with a glass of wine by yourself, you're fucking depressed.
Listen, don't take shots. I like a nice vino in front of the fire. Sometimes I didn't have any tonight. It would have been nice. Maybe I should have just broken into Mary's collection. It would have been nice to be able to tweet my picture of vino at Dez, but I just had my IPAs. This is how you know he's all the way back in. Hollywood, that's mean, all caps. Great throw, Action Jackson. So he's watching. He's coming back in. He's making his way back in. Lot of more wine stuff. There's a ton of tweets of like the wine. He's retweeting most of them, and he just randomly quote tweets this guy who says, "Always with you, Dez X." Tweets the wine, and then he says, "We are identical twins right now," which is an interesting phrasing there.
Nothing better than a good old, like that was a PG Dez rant.
It's just so pure.
That's not a thing.
It's so pure. And then 58 minutes ago, great team win. Then Ravens tweet out the press conference video of Lamar talking about how that was for Dez. He does the little prayer emoji. Retweet some more Raven stuff. And that's the end of it. That was Dez's night on Twitter, which was one of the great Ravens Twitter nights of all time by my estimation.
It was like that was like the most we've ever gotten.
Let me think. I mean, Marlon has some gems.
Marlon has some moments, but as a whole, like, have we had that experience? It was shitty, man. I mean, I was furious early on, and
I think still the best NFL player Twitter day. So not night, but day was when Geno Smith just randomly became a flat earther, and he decided he was going to like go up in a helicopter and like figure out why the earth was round. So he like goes to some helicopter at like the docks in New York, and he starts flying, and people are like tweeting at him, and they're like, Geno, like, you know that like you can go up to like the North Pole or the South Pole and like figure out that like it kind of spreads out from there. And he's like, you can't go there. Otherwise it's restricted. Otherwise I would. Or like they're talking about like going to the edge of the world. And they're like, he's like, no, it's restricted. You can't go there.
Teddy
like,
Bridgewater bought into that big time. That was his big vibe at press conferences lately.
Good for him. Good. I love flat earthers.
Fan.
They're on their own wavelength. They're doing their own thing.
Absolutely. We got Adam Jones coming in here, our 5-time Gold Glover. Boys, got the final studying, but just wanted to pop in and say Lamar is back, baby. Fuck Dez.
I don't know,
Jim. He said, and fuck Dez. Never liked that whiny bitch. Look forward to listening to the episode. Adam, I can't lie. As many game-saving spectacular plays as you've made. Dez Bryant is a menace in the red zone, and that has been something I've been addicted to over the past 16 hours. I don't think he's a whiny bitch, man. I think he is the opposite. I think he's
a dog.
He was at one point. I think he went Jake, to your point, I think he flirted with bitch from dog. I think those were both in play at one point.
Well, a bitch is a dog, to be fair.
Holy shit.
Now we're thinking.
That's gravity.
Now the gears are grinding.
That's gravity. That's fucking gravity. But there's a point in time where Dez is the premier dog. Calvin Johnson.
He was flirting with killer status in 2014.
I think he was beyond killer status. I mean, Calvin Johnson was the premier number one. That was where AB started going off too. But Dez was I'm 6'1", 210. Somebody fucking do something about it. And no one could.
And there's two of me.
And there's two of me.
We don't need them to do that. I'm 6'5", 220, and there's two of me.
Facebook? More like Bookface, nerd.
Because we're from Harvard, Dev. We don't sue people, and we don't plant stories in the crimson. we don't grow, we crew. You Mark Zuckerberg?
All they do is crew.
I'm going to hire the Sopranos to beat the shit out of
reality. It's chicken on chicken, bro. It's chicken on chicken.
We're doing a lot right now.
Doing a lot. But
racer, Dev. I don't need you to.
Dez Bryant was a premier motherfucker in the NFL. I want to say, I don't like where DeAndre Hopkins is at right now in terms of getting the ball thrown to him.
They're just in
But that's what he was. He was the grenade. He was the time bomb that Tony Romo had. And Tony Romo will talk about it ad nauseum when he gets a chance. And having that stripped away from Dez really hurt. And I think it really flattened this team out a little bit early on. And I think it's tough. It's hard to be rah-rah. Who knows? Yeah, Dez is out. We'll do it for him. Whatever. Who knows if they give a shit or not, whatever. But it's just tough when he gets yanked out mid-game. One of your guys you're definitely all week thinking about
they were for sure. They had plays drawn up for him tonight. There's no doubt.
100 billion percent. And Lamar, you get Lamar back. It ends up being said pregame for the first time. And I trust Jay Glazer, man. I don't think he spews any bullshit ever. I don't find him to be a rumor mill person. I find him to be an actual source. And he ultimately says, he was yeah, Lamar had a fever. Lamar was sick, blah, blah, blah. I was we've talked about that on this podcast where, you can test positive for COVID. You cannot. We don't want to accuse you of anything, but we also don't want to say you're going to be playing in an elite NFL level athlete shortly after having it. We don't know.
I drink 5 IPAs and I'm out of commission for 2 days. I think if the guy had COVID, there's many levels to what could be happening.
Right. And Jay Glazer ends up saying he has a fever. He has the chills, whatever. I don't think he's a liar. I think he's telling the truth. And it's kind of fucking scary. And you're all right, well, shit. I thought about it. I was no Mark Andrews, no Matt Judon, no Holden, no Dez Bryant, no Willie Snead. And you're oh, well, the Cowboys are without Zach Martin, but they're still an NFL football team. And right before kickoff, I was my God, this is not ideal. And
listen, nobody likes to say I told you so less than me, but that's kind of where I was at. And it's not even an I told you so because I didn't wind up being right, but that's where I was kind of coming from with I don't know if this is going to be as big a blowout as everyone was saying, but I wound up being wrong in that respect to some extent.
And the Cowboys offensive line was probably the most impressive unit of the night. Ultimately, from what we've seen so far, I'm not a huge let's make judgments on the offensive line based on me being fucking hammered. And
I think that's the best time to make those judgments.
But the Ravens couldn't manufacture pressure. I know that for a fact. And the Cowboys kind of, were chilling. Andy Dalton was chilling a little bit and ultimately not able to hit anything downfield. But how many like 8 to 12 yard throws was Andy Dalton able to make? It had to be 8 to 12 of 8 to 12 and able to move the chains quite a bit. And I think that's a humbling experience. I think the Ravens were flat. They let up a big return early on. I believe that was the second or third possession that the Cowboys had, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been fourth. And they end up, in a short field. Justin Tucker makes one, misses one.
Our guy,
I love when Justin Tucker misses an insignificant field goal. Like, get that out of my brain.
Yeah, just get it out of the system. Joe Buck, we love Joe on the show, but he really was hammering that jinx home, and boy, did it work. I don't know if you heard the TV too well in your situation.
I heard some something straight. He's hit something straight, and it was like something about Lamar too earlier on, and it was like something straight. He's hit so and so field goals.
You don't have to worry about a broadcaster curse with Justin Tucker as he sails that one over the left side. And Dallas.
I'm also not sure that was a miss. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure that was a miss.
I think if the Patriots game in 2012 is going to be called good, we're going to go ahead and call this one a miss, and just it evens out there.
Sure. It was that one was close, but he pushes one, then the Cowboys end up pushing two, which was
3, I thought, right?
Maybe.
I think it was 3. Greg the Leg having a tough scene here with the Dallas Cowboys. One of the best kickers in the NFL of the 2010s is falling off a cliff.
We got some comments pouring in. We got Tanner Cormack.
Many people are saying the comments are just pouring in. So we got that. We got the Twitter questions going on 20 minutes here. What do you want to do?
Let's get into it. Tanner Cormack, do you guys think Lamar would benefit more in a West Coast offense? More like a Shanahan quick pass offense and all different route concepts and wide receivers runs as well. I'm not versed in football like all right, Spenny, am I wrong?
Like the almighty Spenny, am I wrong? What do you guys think is what he's saying?
I'm not happy with Greg Roman. I am going to continue what I said. I'm a man of my word. I'm going to say fire Greg Roman.
Right now or
not right now. I don't think there's any good to come of right now.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm not ruling out firing him at the end of the season at this point, but right now I think you kind of stick with him and see what you can do.
Yeah, I don't see anything happening right now. We'll get into it. We will get into it. But ultimately, what is the best offense for Lamar Jackson? That is the core of the question to me. What is the best core offense for Lamar Jackson?
So he frames that against like a Shanahan West Coast type thing with bootlegs and heavy kind of power run game. Is that the answer? Is there another answer? I know a lot of people made a big deal about the fact that under Petrino, that was kind of a pro style scheme in college. And then last year with Roman, he
ran a pistol pro in college. A lot of play action, a lot of secondary reads. For me, for what I've seen at this point from Lamar, the best system for him is to orchestrate an offense that utilizes vertical concepts, which Greg Roman does. I like pushing the ball down the field with him. But I want more nuance in terms of when you go empty or when there's empty or concepts where you want to spread the ball. I understand he's a fantastic runner, but I want to have more incorporated quick, easy throws to the boundary. I just want the boundary utilized more, essentially. And that can be broken down a lot of different ways, but I want the boundary to be a bigger part of this offense.
Do you mean like one-on-ones, kind of throw it up to a big guy?
No, I don't mean one-on-ones. I mean screens. I mean quick throws.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Snap and throw.
scheming up stuff to the boundaries and the sidelines, like, because it feels like you don't want to do like this all or nothing thing, especially when you don't have boundary targets, quite frankly, but you do have, plenty of guys that could make some hay on screens. You saw Dez have those, couple catches against the Titans where he was just wide open, throw it out.
Those were beautiful, and they were nothing. That wasn't even a thought. That was like a absolute absence of thought that those were available. And tonight we end up seeing Lamar in, I believe, the second drive of the game, if I'm not mistaken, shoo the kicking team off the field.
Yeah, he did. He's addicted to doing that.
And the point is,
I think third drive of the game, because he threw the interception, then they went for it on fourth.
Right.
Scored on fourth.
Right. Yeah,
and
I believe you're right. I think you're right.
On the cornerback on the right side.
I'm just trying to make a play on the ball.
Trying to make a play on the ball, guys. Throw the flag for me, please, here, because this is fucking egregious, man.
But ultimately, it gets to the point where there's this indecision. There's this ding dong, this giant medallion swinging from side to side. How is this offense going to work? When are they going to get to the line? And Lamar immediately waved it off and was like, bitch, we're running power read. I'm going to go do this. That was a turning point in this football game. So simplify things, man. Give him more control. Let him make more calls at the line. Like, it might not turn out ideally, but I'll promise you it will turn out better than when you have this offense that is frantically rushing to the line, having to try and run multiple sets of motion, getting penalties, and unsure of where they're supposed to be. Because then you basically end up with a spot offense.
Why? So maybe it's talent, and maybe I'm talking recency bias here. Why do the Packers and Matt LaFleur's offense and the Saints and Sean Payton's offense have open guys on every play in the receiving game?
Because they're quick, to the point, no faking, cooking MCs like a pound of bacon. They are on the ball.
Baker Mayfield in the chat.
Baker Mayfield runs the same offense as the Titans.
I was just thinking some like weird thing there with a rhyme, but a little bit more color on the two offenses that I just referenced there.
Those offenses. Let's talk about Sean Payton. Sean Payton quickly anticipates coverage. He understands, and I think Greg Roman, in the complete opposite, anticipates gaps. I think Greg Roman anticipates gaps. I think he anticipates how teams are going to fit his run game. And I think it's brilliant. I really think it's brilliant. The Ravens ran for what? 290 something yards tonight?
I think over 300.
Something around there. And Roman understands how teams are going to fit, fill, adjust, and how to take advantage of run games. And it's been incredibly successful. And that's why it's really hard to just be like, yeah, fuck Greg Roman. But he did a couple things tonight that really, really pissed me off. But in the end, Sean Payton, people talk about Andy Reid, Bieniemy, underneath of him and other guys, they quickly anticipate coverage. They anticipate how teams are going to react to specific alignments, to specific motions, and then how to attack them. Are they right 100% of the time? No, they're not at all.
Part of the reason I ask about the Packers and the Saints is because like the Chiefs, like they do amazing stuff, but there's also a lot of pre-snap stuff going on. They also do a lot of stuff with like shovel passes and sort of weird shit and screens. And they also have all the best players.
A lot of it is like Travis Kelce being disgusting at like selling routes and working in the middle of the field.
Right. And they have like all the best players in the league. Like I feel like when I watch the Saints, they do these like levels concepts where they have like one dude, two dude, three dude, like all going. And then like one of them is invariably going to be open. And then the rich man's Lamar Jackson, Taysom Hill is hitting one of them. And it's like, oh, okay, Sean Payton is really making something happen here. I think it's just like a little more innovative, or maybe not more innovative, but you're getting more squeeze out of the juice, or juice out of the squeeze there, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And in terms of the Saints and what they're doing, they simplify things for Taysom Hill to an incredible degree. they have 2 or 3 receiver concepts with max protection where they run concepts that it's impossible to make a bad throw. You only have to make an accurate throw. There's no bad decision to be made. There's only an accurate throw to be made. That's intersecting concepts. And Sean Payton understands how to make DBs switch off, how to manipulate zone coverage, how to make a free safety and a cornerback exchange. And that's where Drew Brees has thrown 300 of his 500 touchdown passes. And Taysom Hill's done great. I love all of that stuff. But ultimately, Greg Roman at this point, it boils back down to, I think he does take absolute advantage of teams. And we've seen it 3 times now. The Ravens have played the NFC East. 3 of the 4. They have the Giants remaining, who are a tall task defensively, and I'm not going to overlook them in any way, shape, or form.
Offensively, Colt was, kind of moving around a little bit against the Seahawks.
Yeah, he was making smart throws. They were moving the chains.
Might be back by the time they come to Baltimore, but who knows?
Sure, injuries, COVID, who the fuck knows? But
honestly,
right, and ultimately, the Ravens have not been able to lean into their run game enough. They don't make it comfortable. Like, they get these dash plays.
It feels like they have a good run play or 2 in a row, and then it's like, okay, like now we kind of have to pass for some reason. It's like, well, you really don't have to. Like, you could probably just keep running it, especially against a defense like this. It's awful against the run, and they look that way tonight. Felt like kind of a little bit of a weird sort of, one thing is working, so like let's try to do the other thing and get that going. Definitely a tune-up game in a lot of senses of the word. But they left some rush yards out there on the field tonight, I feel like.
I don't think it was a tune-up game, man. I think this was a pretty fucking serious game for a long time.
No, it was, but I mean, it kind of wound up being that.
Right, in the second half. But overall, you talk about Greg Roman, and he's the hot topic. This Greg Roman, he's been running
this guy, Al, all the Ravens fans coming out here against him, and he's got the silver hair slicked back, and you sort of wonder, hey,
he's a Mount St. Joe's guy.
So, Mount St. Joe's, and he's just out there in the box calling plays for Lamar Jackson, and got a lot out of him in 2019, but we're going to have to see what happens moving forward this year. 2nd and 5.
And the big revelation that people have had is like, oh, Greg Roman, after a year or 2, he's done. He's been running the same offense. I think we saw Steve Smith have a breakdown on a lot of the same concepts. And that part of it, I do want to say, is bullshit, because offense and defense and everything has been occurring for so long. You adjust the personnel, you adjust the way that it looks. You want to put a little maple syrup on your pancakes every single time just to make them taste a little better. And that's fucking football. But Greg Roman, I think, does ultimately fall short in terms of efficiency. I have ad nauseum talked about Mark Ingram. We see Mark Ingram on like 3 or 4 1st and 10s. Nothing good happens.
First series tonight. Bring him out there 2 yards.
I think it was the first series twice in a row. I think it was like it was like a gain of 1, whatever. And I think he ultimately ended up like mid 3rd quarter having a nice 1st and 10 gain or something, whatever. But you're just not using your own tendencies to fool defenses. Like, it's like playing chess, and I've watched Queen's Gambit, so I'm an expert chess player. I can literally beat anyone in the entire world, I swear to God.
I've been playing a lot of that 3D chess game that I was telling you about. It's fucking sick.
I've played iMessage chess. Like, I've played iMessage chess. I'm the best.
Get the 3D chess. It's like deluxe. It's really good.
I've called plays in the NFL. I've played chess. I've done all of it. Al, we've got a guy here. But ultimately, on 1st down, you're not efficient enough. And it just felt like in this game, And the Ravens were able to bail themselves out of it. And when I say the Ravens, I mean Lamar Jackson. And I think Lamar Jackson hasn't played great this year. There's a lot of people get pissy about that statement. I'm the number one. My background on my phone has been Lamar Jackson since the night they fucking drafted him. So eat shit and die if you think that I'm like a Lamar Jackson hater.
Don't die. Don't do that.
But at this point, he can step up. And they're just in these 3rd and 6s, these 3rd and 7s, every single drive. They're not manufacturing easy yards, easy conversions. And Lamar bailed them out tonight. I mean, Lamar really bailed them out several times with his legs. And I love to see that. I love to see that because I think a major stepping stone, there's 2 things. The first one is that he wants to throw the ball. He wants to prove to everybody, I'm the quarterback. I'm the passer. I've got the arm out.
You know what he wants to be? He wants to be McConaughey. And let me make this comparison to you a little bit.
I'm so excited.
So McConaughey, he starts out, he does Days, and it's kind of like an extremely acclaimed performance in the early 90s. That's Lamar's college career. That gets McConaughey into Time to Kill. And then after Time to Kill, it's all rom-coms.
It's such a good movie.
It's great. But after that, it's all rom-coms. And he gets typecast a little bit as the rom-com guy. And so he's doing that for however many years. And McConaughey made McConaughey made the active decision to step away essentially from acting. Because after the early 2000s and mid-2000s, he said, I don't want to be typecast as this guy anymore. I want to be a serious actor in big movies, and I want to expand my portfolio and bet on myself. And it worked out for him.
Right.
Lamar does not want to be typecast as the rom-com guy, as the running quarterback guy. You can still do that without completely torpedoing the aspect of your game that is really, 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 really strong. And I've been saying that he hasn't been scrambling nearly enough this year. I mean, the design runs were a big part of the game last year for him, but there were also some scrambling games like the Seattle game. We've talked about it ad nauseum. Scrambled a ton in that game, took over. Didn't see it from him at all this year. We needed to see it from him. And tonight, starting on that first drive, they had a 3rd down. He bails them out on the run to the right. Couple other scrambles tonight were
same drive. He did that twice in one drive.
Yeah, and just a couple just here and there, a design run on the touchdown, which that's a design run, but still part of that QB rushing game. Touchdown to Hollywood, scrambling to his left, throwing reminiscent of the touchdown to Andrews.
Every time I face the NFC East, I'm thinking to myself,
all right,
drive, I can take care of this.
I can.
Giants coming up, easy.
I think it's a good opportunity for me to take
Redskins. We don't call them that anymore because we respect them, but we still love them.
We do love them
for a touchdown every time.
I think this scene would be a good opportunity for me to take my shirt off as we veer option here, and my guy Luke Wilson. Shout out to Texas. He's gonna spring me loose here for this touchdown. But
Buick was a beautiful car. It was
until I was driving a Lincoln long before I got paid. Dude. Gonna have you down to where I'm from, Kilgore, down in Texas. We're gonna have a little bit of a barbecue, get some chicks, go down to 6th Street. Have Navion.
I maybe want slaw. I want some slaw.
We're going to go over to Franklin's Barbecue. We're going to cut the line. It's about a 6-hour line, but they're just going to let me.
Nobody cuts the line there.
No, they're going to let McConaughey cut the line because I'm a legend down here. Going to take my shirt off, and they're just going to let me right on in. We're going to order a slab of beef. Take it down to Rooster McConaughey's house down on the south side, down on South Lamar. We're going to throw him on the grill.
Rooster on South Lamar.
Rooster McConaughey living on South Lamar down in Austin, Texas. We're going to have ourselves a good old time. Old Slater's going to come by, bring me some sweet green, and we're going to have ourselves a night.
Sweet green.
It's the first time anyone's ever called weed sweet green.
Sweet.
I had to come up with something. I didn't know what to say. But yeah, so he doesn't want to be typecast as that running quarterback, but sometimes just lead into it. It's going to work for you. He needs to do more of that this year.
What we said. I mean, that was my big point. We recorded last night. My big point was lean the fuck into it because you don't have margin for error. And what else worked?
Nothing else is working for you. Go back to what works. So we're 40 minutes in here. We got to get into these Twitter questions. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Okay. First one from Priya Kurtz. Why couldn't we get a pass rush going? No Judon on the other side. Is that the issue?
I think it's because the Cowboys were a little shifty. They usually run some half-man stuff, which basically means strong side. You run
Lannister offense.
You run two. Let's say you're wide right.
It's half.
You got your strong side to your right.
Tyrion Lannister half-man.
And you call Rita. People hear Tom Brady call that shit. You got your strong right. That means that your right side is going to kick out and they're going to block to the right. Your left side is going to pick up the first three men. That, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's a linebacker. It doesn't matter if it's anybody. They're going to just slide to the right as well and try to angle out. And I think that the Cowboys really simplified things against the Ravens in a good way that is going to be detrimental moving forward in ways of half man and man protection. They simply didn't give a fuck if the Ravens blitzed. Like, they didn't care where it was coming from. Dalton did a good job getting the ball out. I think Andy Dalton also, knows I can't hold the ball against the Ravens or I'm going to get murdered. I think he got disgustingly rocked a couple of times, but didn't get sacked a ton. And in this game, they ended up being able to hit some short, it was basically 95. The Cowboys offense, I want to say ran, I'm gonna go off the top of the dome. I'm gonna say 71 plays. And like 60 of them, like 57 to 60 of them were curls in the slot because they knew they couldn't hold the ball or they were going to get wrecked. And it gave it a lot of pass rush. There were a couple of times where Andy Dalton was able to skate around, whatever. He throws a touchdown to Michael Gallup. Ultimately, they played well up front, and the Ravens got fucking whooped in that sense from their defensive line. And it was it just shows that the NFL is a matchup league. The Titans had a super up and down day against the Ravens. They ended up getting the shit beat out of them by the Cleveland Browns up front. The Cowboys are without Zach Martin, turn in a really admirable performance, and there's been everything in between. So it was good to watch in a way. It was entertaining football. I'm sure it was more entertaining than a lot of people who aren't Cowboys or Ravens fans anticipated.
Yeah, they really held up. I got to hand it to them. And Ngakoue had another close but no cigar game. Got held a few times, I think, but it is what it is. Naturally Cats, rate Dez's tweets tonight out of 10. I'm going to go 10. And also, 10. We do have coming across the wire Dez Bryant 5 minutes ago. This was more than just another game for me. It wasn't about revenge. I didn't need a catch. I wanted to make a point. A lot of ellipses in there. He's really, really rolling the drama out, which I appreciate.
It hurts me. It hurts. That physically hurts me.
It hurts.
It Jalen hurts, man. I don't want. It's just so fucking deflating. He wakes up tomorrow. He wakes up tomorrow. What does he feel? Disappointment.
He can't play versus the Browns either, which is the biggest game of the year.
I don't know if he tested positive. Do we know that yet?
No, we don't. I think so. If he tested positive, is
it was a what's the word? I can't recall.
The
inconclusive.
Well, yes, but then he did test positive right after that. So
he did. Okay.
So unless it's a false positive and they can confirm that, it's probably not going to be.
Okay. I just only thing I saw was an inconclusive test and then him getting yanked, which made a little bit more sense in my brain at one point. But
you've had a long night.
Long night. I have work at 6 a.m. tomorrow, but it's just difficult to not feel bad for him.
He's become a very endearing figure as a guy who had a little bit of a checkered start to the league for multiple reasons that I think some were BS, others maybe a little more legit, but he's very, very, very endearing in my mind.
I don't know how you can't feel bad for him. I don't know how you can't empathize to some degree.
Steve Fisher, is Roman going to spread the carries out going forward, or was this a product of bad Dallas run D to give all three some work? Would love to see JK take the reins from here on out. I don't know, man. I think they also, so Kevin follows up with, why didn't they get Hill involved? I kind of liked what I saw from the run game. I just wanted to see more of it. I think JK looked great. Gus looked great in his spots. Ingram had, a nice little run late in the game to secure a first down. Don't really need to see much more of Ingram, to be honest, but I don't know. I liked what I saw. I wanted to see more of it. That's more on Roman than anything to kind of make that happen.
I'm a little drunk, obviously. If the Ravens run the ball 4 times in a row, they don't ever gain less than 10 yards.
So are you saying let's strap on the leather heads and just fucking go wing tee and just win every game? Because I'm with you. I like get John out there and just like fucking.
My number one takeaway, I tweeted it out in all saltyhood, was that I've said it. Here we go. Mark Ingram shouldn't, and Eric Jacobs. I think Eric was even quicker than I was on it. I think he was the one who turned me on. Shout out Eric Jacobs, number one listener, number one homie boy.
Shout out to his real estate. If you're looking to buy, hit up Eric Jacobs Real Estate on Instagram.
Eric Jacobs Real Estate.
Coming up in Pikesville. The show is brought to you.
Nothing good happens when you hand Mark Ingram the ball on first down. Nothing good. And I don't care. I don't care if there's an 11-yard gain every here and there, and you can spit that in my face. Because in terms of actually progressing down the football field, scoring points, you have to gain at least 5 yards on first down on a rush for it to positively impact what you're doing. And the quick rebuttal is, well, what happens if it's an incomplete pass? If you throw the ball twice, you average how many yards per attempt? Fucking 5 times what you do if you run the ball twice. That's easier said than done. There's more factors to it. But at this point, Mark Ingram on first down is a joke. I don't care about anything else involving running backs. I don't want Mark Ingram on the field on first down. We saw him on second down multiple times. Because that's a different element.
Literally joking about it. Like I made a joke about it when it happened on the first drive, and then they went and did it again.
Yes. We don't even need to discuss it anymore. Everyone who listens to this podcast, you, I, everyone else, the Wild Dogs, the Wild Boys, call Steve-O's, rough.
I'm Steve, and this is handed to Ingram on first down and lose 2 yards. We all told Ingram we were going to hand him the ball on first down and he was going to lose this yard.
And it comes to a head when Lamar Jackson, who, we could have made some fucking excuses, and I think I honestly would have. I think I would have made a lot of excuses if the Ravens ended up losing this game. I think I would have made excuses for Lamar. But he shoos the kicking team off the field. He runs the fucking 37-yard power read immediately. And there was so much decisiveness in it. And that's what this offense lacks. Decisiveness. Confidence. And he has all of that shit. And it just feels like a fucking waste when they don't take advantage of it. And put that any way you want. They end up throwing the touchdown to Boykin. He ends up throwing a magnificent fucking pass to Hollywood. There was just I don't feel good after this game. I don't feel good. I don't care.
I'm Greg Zuerlein, and this is the Ravens 2020 offense. We all told the Ravens fans that we're going to have a productive offense in this game, that we handed it off to Ingram on first down a couple different times, and they just weren't really consistent. You got me on a big-time jackass kick right now after mentioning Steve, though. I just need you to realize that.
Well, we're going to need to
told
get
Ingram.
some actual legends involved, and we'll get cooking.
And this is running the ball instead of Mark Ingram on first down because it might be more productive with me out there.
We're going to make a reality show about it, and it's actually going to ruin the next 20 years of our lives, but we're only going to care about the next 4.
We all told Spenny that we were going to run the ball on first down and be really productive, and we actually aren't. Kevin, is Averett going to start next week? I think Jimmy or Tremont is going to be back, right?
I don't know. I feel like Jimmy should.
Big game.
It is a huge game. And I like what I saw out of Averett. He was chomping at the bit. I think he's very much in tune with what this defense is doing. If Jimmy can't go, if Jimmy can't crack corn, I don't care. Put him on the sideline.
Yo, what changed this week other than getting starters back and not playing the best defense in the Cowboys? I think that is kind of what changed. I liked what I saw from Lamar, though. I think there's stuff to build on there, even though he didn't look perfect. I also think, defense is going to look better than that. I truly believe that. They just had an off game, I think.
Nothing really happened to that defense other than some, well-timed
turnover early. You had a long return on special teams early. They got put in some tough spots. Like
they did, and they stepped up. They let up a touch. Marlon lets up a touchdown to Michael Gallup.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Exactly.
We'll keep. No, go ahead. Sorry.
It sucked. It was not ideal, but they responded. They dug themselves out of difficult positions a couple of times, and ultimately, the Ravens' run game took over when it needed to, and it was, it was a weird game. It was just a weird game.
Listen, any Tuesday
they
night
dominated, but they didn't, and they lost and didn't, and they completely crushed and didn't. I don't know.
I think those early miscues kind of made it a little closer than it should have been. I don't think the Cowboys were moving the ball well in the first half. They started to get going in the second, but it all kind of evens out. I think it probably shouldn't have been as much of a blowout as the scoreboard says, but I think 10 points was probably right around the mark there.
For sure. And I think there was confidence to be taken away. And the number one play of the game has to be Lamar Jackson throwing the fucking touchdown to Hollywood Brown. He scans right. He takes his time. He works across the field. Too slow, honestly. And just I've been waiting for trajectory. I've been waiting for the sky falling dimes from Lamar. And that one was just perfect. And Hollywood Brown is one of the few people that's in the NFL where he can breadbasket a touchdown pass, and it looks like the football is enormous. And that was a great feeling to see. It was so nice to see from Lamar working across slowly, having a clean pocket. No one fucked with him. There was no pressure at all.
It really reminded me of the Andrews touchdown against Washington.
Right.
People are forgetting that is one of the best throws Lamar's ever made, and then I think
that one was fucking crazy. He was really moving across his body.
It was like Rodgers-esque.
But I'm really impressed by this one. It was no rush. There was no hurry. He could have gotten 5 yards if he wanted and fallen down, or I haven't looked at it ad nauseum. I'm sure there's a check down or 3 yards available to him. But his shoulders were so square to his target. His feet were wide. He was moving across his body. He does everything that you fucking want him to do. And the football floats into the breadbasket, and Hollywood Brown drags his feet. That is toe drag swag. If they don't talk about it on stupid fucking NFL Network.
I like that show.
I love it more than I should. And haven't watched it this year, but Kyle Brandt, legend. Nate Burleson, legend. Kay Adams, legend. Love all of them.
I like Peter Schrager, a Baltimore guy. well, not him.
Peter Schrager is a slave to his significant other, wife, or whatever they are.
Not shocking looking at him.
He is an imp.
But he's giving shout outs to like Reisterstown Road. Like he knows what he's talking about, which by the way,
He does.
That's my hood right there. So good. Thank you, Peter Schrager, for your service. Wookie Nookies. Is Boykin making strides? I feel like he does this every couple of weeks. Like he had that touchdown against the Steelers. He had a couple catches. Every couple of weeks, he kind of wakes up. I just want to see him do it week to week. Like every week, go like 3 for 30 or like 3 for 40. Like just have a solid game every week. It's like
there's just not enough opportunity. How many passes did the Ravens throw tonight? 16.
I agree. Yeah, like he had a good game for sure. It's just like it's not only on him. Like it's maybe emblematic of the entire offense. He's a weird fit this year. It's not working out, but I don't. It's it's good to see him.
I think it is working out. I think he's fucking perfect.
Yeah, you think so?
I think so. I think at this point, after that Eagles game debacle where there was that floaty bullshit where they were not on the same page, he took accountability. They basically remove him from the game script as much. He's not a superstar. He's not, balling on motherfuckers. He's doing what he's asked. And I don't think he's a wide receiver 1. I don't think he's a wide receiver 2. But he's doing what is asked of him. He's
been a good
confident.
He's been a good red zone threat his entire career. He scored a touchdown in his first game, another one like 3 games after that.
That's a really good point.
He had a couple touchdowns, like many touchdowns as a rookie year, like 4 or 5, I think. He's had a couple this year. He's like perfect down in that area. He's a finesse player. He can jump up for the ball. He's a solid player. He could be like a really good 3 or 4. He's just got to like keep working. Stop dropping into Verdance like you've kind of mentioned in some of our private channels. Maybe stop doing that as much. Kind of get your head in the playbook. It does seem like he's done that to his credit. Great game by him tonight, and that's a good thing. Like
I originally thought, I'm still fucking drunk. I originally thought that was a bad pass on that touchdown throw, and I thought it was like high or something. That was right off the forehead. That was
David
clanking off the face mask if his hands didn't get there. Right on the money. And I swear he did everything he could to fight it. And I love the dude. I want him to be successful. He did everything he could to fall down. Fall down.
He tried not to score. Oh yeah, he gave it a shot. But
that was like watching a deer that hears a gunshot, thinks they're done, and scurries away. And I'm happy that it resulted in a touchdown. That's all good and dandy. I still am happy with him progressing all along. I'm happy with him progressing. I don't want to be a negative motherfucker about everything all the time. You don't have Dez, you don't have Willie Snead, you don't have Mark Andrews. Somebody's got to step up, and he scores a touchdown. Keep the mojo going.
It's like I said, you're entering a critical stretch. You needed a little bit of a get-right game. There's a lot of positives to take away, and him having a good game ahead of that stretch is important, I think. So good on you, Miles.
Love to see it.
Seth Gutman, the Cowboys defense is so bad. Not going to take much out of this game except enjoy the win, a hearty laugh at Greg the Legs kicking, and an eye roll at the predictable 2-minute drill illegal formation. Go win at the Factory of Sadness, he says.
Factory of Gladness. They want it. They want the Ravens.
They do.
And can't blame them. They should be getting all those guys back, hopefully. I don't know. I didn't realize how many people were still out. I don't know. The one thing that I know about this upcoming matchup is that Myles Garrett has been shut the fuck down by Ronnie Stanley. Orlando Brown has played well. If you don't put Myles Garrett away from Orlando Brown and ask him to destroy this game, you're not a good coach. That's all I have to say.
At Kevin Stefanski, however the fuck you say it. Jaron F. What is the next step for Lamar? Seems like he's ATL Vic currently. Makes difficult throws, misses the routine stuff, dynamic when running. Also, do y'all see EDC acquiring a number 1 receiver in the offseason to help Lamar get to the next level? So he's making the comparison to Vic on the Falcons early on. which isn't a
crumble.
terrible take, I don't think. And then
I think it is. I think it is a terrible take. And I think it's a terrible take because Vic wasn't reading. He was playing. And I think Lamar isn't reading like Mahomes is. I think he isn't reading like I think he's even reading like, the same guys in his draft class. I don't think he's spending the time at home dedicated to
it was a different era too.
Sure, but I don't think he's addicted to the fucking tape. But at the same time, I think he's really young. And at this point, you can put all these hypotheticals on. He always beats teams that he's supposed to, and he has a little bit of trouble against teams that are tough. And, entire game plans are presented to basically stop Lamar Jackson. And there's nothing to take the pressure off. It is what it is. He hasn't been consistent. I want to see them lean in at this point to the 2018 shit, to the maximum running the ball, making reads easy for him. He has excelled beyond what he was in 2018, so let him maximize what you did in 2018 in a way. And you can say, that's stunning his growth or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. At this point, you're 7.
They went 6-2 with that setup, so we don't have to go too crazy about it.
Right. You're in a position where you can maybe lose one game right now. You have to win against the Browns, plain and simple. Browns are up. That's a game of the year. Right now.
Hopefully nobody, there's no COVID situation before it or anything. We'll see what happens.
I don't even care at this point. I'm not going to get mad about it anymore. Dez Bryant broke my heart. Not his fault, but that's the game of the year. And you're finally coming off of a win where you feel okay. I still don't, though. And the reason I don't is because the fucking plays aren't coming in on time. I don't feel that the offense is a professional level offense in execution, in fundamentals, in the basis of what it takes to go out on a football field and take advantage of the other team. And it's sad. I don't want to waste timeouts. I don't want to see illegal formations. How many is it at this point? 8, 9?
It feels like at least one every game.
I would say 7 is the minimum. And I want to say 9 is the maximum. So we'll call it 8. And that's amateur. That's JV. That's bullshit. And if you want to go play a game against a team that is on a roll, we'll get into it. We'll hopefully have someone on. We'll try to. We've had a fucking wild ass time with the scheduling lately because God knows they can't play on a fucking Sunday. But if you can't get down to brass tacks, stop the run, do the basic things that make you the Baltimore Ravens, you're going to have a long road afterwards. You're going to be 7-6 and have to win out.
Lamarvelous. After we fired Greg Roman, so a little bit of an assumption there. Is there any spread zone scheme OC we could pick up? J.K. Dobbins has a vision to absolutely kill it in a zone scheme. Lamar would shred off of play action and RPO with makeshift spread. This guy's just breaking it down. I love it.
Lamar already throws a ton of RPO and play action. The Ravens are like never lower than 5th in play action usage in proportion to their total passing game. There's this obsession with the Browns with Donovan Peoples-Jones coming wide open because the Browns
after literally one game. Like everyone was just shitting on the Browns every week up until that game where they look great. Credit to them. It's one game, guys. We can probably calm down.
Sure. And maybe they put it up a little bit against the Ravens. We'll fucking see. But
I'm not even shitting on the Browns myself. I'm just saying that all the people that
it's a matchup league. It's a matchup league.
And everyone that I see now, like, oh my God, this Kevin Stefanski, like Baker looked amazing against the Titans. It's like, you're literally all the same people that were like saying, oh, the Browns are frauds, worst 8-3 team in history. It's like, well, they didn't get to 8-3 for no fucking reason. And like, it's not like, I don't know. I don't want to like go too hard on that. I don't want to like be Mr. Brownie's defender, but all the talk about how awful they were was kind of irking me a little bit.
They run the same offense as several successful teams. They have, in my mind, I mean, if Myles Garrett doesn't go down with COVID for a week or two, he's my DPOY. He has
defensive player of the year for anyone curious.
He has ruined game plans. And I think the Browns are I think they're a better version of the Titans. They just whoop the Titans. I think they're a better version. They do very similar things. But ultimately, if you want to go beat the Browns, you want to go into Cleveland and the home field advantage is out the window, blah, 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 blah. I think that's all a bunch of shit about crappy teams playing good teams on the I think there's more to it, but ultimately, if you want to go beat the Browns and you want to go run to the line in the red zone with 3 seconds left and force a play on your 23-year-old quarterback, you're an asshole. And that is directly to you, Greg Roman. That is directly to you. I would rather, especially in the first half, call a timeout. Call a timeout. And there were instances where it worked out. J.K. Dobbins had like a 19-yard run on a play that got really hurried really early on. I think that was his big run that got everybody fired up about J.K. Dobbins.
He was so
it turned out really well.
He was so fucking fast on that play.
It turned out really well. So the result is not great for my consideration, but I watch a lot of football.
Listen, we're process-based, and the result might have been good there, but you got to look at the process.
I don't see teams that can't get to the line in the red zone. It's insane.
Oh, what's the deal with these teams that can't get to the line in the red zone?
It's insane. It's completely insane.
Robert Estes, grade Lamar on the game considering he was missing Andrews and Snead. I want to go a nice little B+. I think he had a nice B+ bounce back game considering pretty much no practice up to this.
Hollywood spun the ball on a motherfucker.
Yeah, good game from Lamar. He was the thing that
powers.
The thing that we've hit on here is that he was decisive. He looked good in the run game. He was out there just kind of swinging his sword like Ashley Schaefer from Ashley Schaefer BMW. He had a good game. Woo! That's just what we do around here, man. We have fun. He had fun out there. He was decisive. Some hitches with his throws, but I feel like that's going to be corrected once he has some more practices under his belt coming off of the vid, and some really nice runs. So I liked what I saw from him.
That interception was
it was a bad throw, a bad decision. That was on him. So our guy, MD Law So Hard, he had a couple pops tonight, and he was tweeting about how it was clearly not on Hollywood, and I'm with him.
I think that's fucking false. I think
you think so? I thought it was a bad decision.
I think you throw a drag, you throw a pick that hits off somebody's hands. I don't shit fucking happens.
No, that's what I mean though. Like shit happens. It was a bad throw, kind of a bad decision. But it's fine. Like that's going to happen. It was a tough bounce. Like sometimes you just drop those and it's a tough bounce. People are making this massive deal out of it. It's like,
oh my God, I honestly forgot about that. There was a huge.
If they were playing
deal.
If they were playing a real team, like I would have been a little more concerned. But this is the Cowboys.
Like a pick six against Pittsburgh on the first drive of the game.
Exactly.
On the first third down. And then what happens? He drives down the field, scores a touchdown. Like, I've just never seen a quarterback that is so – it's funny because Joe Flacco was a quarterback previously of this team, but the polarization, the comments, the criticism, the concern, the fucking glory, the tears.
It's like I've said, drive to drive, game to game, play to play. He is analyzed against the context of his future and what he can and cannot do more than any quarterback in the history of the league that I've ever seen. And like it might have happened.
He threw a slant that was an inaccurate pass, and it skipped off the top of Boykin's hands, or I think it was Boykin. And it was like, holy shit. Lamar missed a pass. He's only 9 for 11, and his 2 incompletions hit 2 receivers.
He had to throw to Hollywood that got intercepted. He had a throw to Boykin that was he overthrew him a little bit. He sailed it. He brought his left elbow down.
It was an inaccurate pass.
But like that was a throw that I think got your boy Mosher a little horned up and said, I don't know if he can beat them with his arm. He had a throw to Hollywood in the red zone that was low, I think. And then he had Boykin in the end zone and he just kind of missed him. So he had 4 tough throws. Okay, like some quarterbacks have those games. No other quarterbacks get the treatment of like, oh man.
Remove Snead, remove Andrews, remove, I don't even want to say Dez because he hasn't been a part of what Lamar's done. But I saw some confidence. I saw some decisiveness. And I just want to make these stupid statements that don't end up being true. But the moment of like, keep the fucking kicking team off the field. I'm Lamar Jackson. Let me run the power read.
That's a great
keep that shit off the field.
We're gonna need to gift that.
Yeah, he was like, bro, it's fine. It's 4th and 2. Keep this shit off the field. We're playing the Cowboys. I'm good.
A lot of good images from this game. You had that, and then you had him running the touchdown in, and Bozeman like
Hollywood spinning on someone.
Yeah, you had Bozeman in the background, like doing the touchdown sign. Lamar running it in, like literally from the 20-yard line. It's fucking sick.
That was a good, yeah. That was
podcast bump for Bozeman.
100%. But ultimately, Ravens walk out of this needing to be better than the rest of the teams that are in the wild card chase. And I like that. I like it. I like the pressure. I like
it's good.
It's good.
Good. Orioles haiku. Overall, great performance, although it felt like Dallas was picking apart our secondary at times. Was this due to the pass rush not generating enough pressure? What was going on with the pass rush? Because it felt like maybe a couple holds, not getting called. That's going to happen. Guys not getting home. What was the dealio there?
The Cowboys offensive line, Connor Williams, some of those guys, they have some major absences. Really manhandled the Ravens ultimately. Calais Campbell, I was surprised to see play in this game. I thought,
sounds like the Roni hit him pretty hard.
Yeah, he said it did. And I'm surprised to see some of these guys play. Andy Dalton, don't get it twisted, didn't get hit a lot, but got absolutely destroyed twice. There were some violent hits. I think the Cowboys generally did a great job understanding that the Ravens don't let up big plays. They always have someone lurking. They've had Greg Williams territory safeties lurking over top. You have to sustain drives. I think a lot of what they did generally looked better because of that big return, because of that 70-yard return. And I don't have anyone to blame for you right now, but I will in about 24 hours. And they missed 2 field goals at the same time. I mean, they were in Ravens territory. They sustained a couple nice little, 2 first down, 3 first down, 4 first down drives, but they weren't able to hit a ton of big plays overall. And we saw a lot of Justin Ellis. We saw a lot of Jalen Ferguson. There's no Judon, all these different aspects. So the Cowboys were able to get like between the 40s, but just couldn't move it once they were there. And the receivers made some nice plays. CeeDee Lamb had probably, 5-6 catches. Michael Gallup, Maury Cooper had, 4 or 5 apiece.
Let me check my fucking fantasy team. Actually, I played CD. Okay, vaccine out. Okay, I win. Good.
There you go.
CD with 7.6 fantasy points for me against this 8.8 projected. Good play by the kid. Chris Lehman, that throw and catch to Hollywood in the corner was a thing of beauty. Really enjoyed seeing a win again. Me too. Assuming players stay off the COVID list and the players currently off come back and play on M and F, how does this team stack up against the Browns? Bird's eye view, I think this is looking like a little bit of a tough matchup. I think they're evenly matched to an extent, but I think the Brownies have some momentum right now.
The Browns are a better version of the Titans. They do the same shit. They offensively, that is purely offensively. They have their offense designed off of outside zone, bootlegs of outside zone, and play action. And the Browns do some different run concepts. They have some gap scheme stuff. They run power, all kinds of great stuff, sure. But I feel like the Ravens have Baker Mayfield's number in a sense. I think they understand what concepts Baker likes to run. It's a lot of crossers. It's a lot of vertical play action, him throwing accurate balls, which is fantastic. But Baker has been not making mistakes lately. And can the Ravens manufacture mistakes? That's where it comes down to for me. Guy like Patrick Queen, who has been up and down, crazy bad, crazy average, really not great.
First interception tonight, not really an amazing play by him, but a good athletic feat to dive out there.
The thing is, though, he played so well after that interception. It was like the ball touched his hands. He got a taste of it, and he fucking immediately on the next drive
He went heat miser.
Slipped a block, ducked back into the hole, and then stuck Ezekiel Elliott.
We're getting into Christmas season. He went heat miser. He got those eyes going, and he was like getting in the backfield, getting after Zeke a little bit, and just doing it. The hair was on fire. It was great to watch.
He does have some bug eyes too. He does have some heat miser vibes. Shout out to Morning Mugs opening in Federal Hill. My little opening up a coffee mug shop and having some stuff go on. I'll talk about that more in the future. But
let's go there. We have to go. Let's do an episode there.
Absolutely.
Once these uncertain times have concluded and we're both vaccinated.
Yes. And ultimately, I thought he played really well, but what do the Browns want to do? They want to run a little bit of mid-power, a little bit of mid-zone, a little outside zone. They have a little bit of creative play calling. They're super similar to the Titans. I think it's going to be a close game, and you can force Baker Mayfield into bad reads. They did it last time. I don't think there's any reason to think the Browns are going to score over 30 points or whatever. They've been streaky, but they've also seen the Ravens, and the Ravens' offensive line is not ideal right now. I mean, it's a tough matchup overall. And you're going to want Lamar to step above it. Baker doesn't have to do shit. He just has to put the ball into, open receiver's arms, make not terrible reads. I think he's been outstanding at doing that, a la Kirk Cousins, a la Ryan Tannehill. Those three, to me, are very similar. But if you can't get pressure on him, you're not going to beat him. And I think that's the key to the game, is pressuring Baker, hitting him a little bit, getting him to get rid of the ball, and making him crumble. And we'll see if the Ravens can do that.
Connor Kellerstrass, no real question here, just positive thoughts. Happy to see the run game get going and Hollywood connection back. We forced him targets, which in my opinion is a good thing. Only bad throw in my opinion was a high throw to Boykin coming across the field. Other than that, Lamar looked great. Spark. Hashtag Baltimore Beatdown. Hashtag Connor Kellerstrass. Thank you for the question. Or comment, I should say.
I originally thought that was a bad throw. I don't think it was to Boykin. Hit him in the face mask.
Yeah. Jeffrey Rodrigue, when they started with Ingram and he proceeded to be inefficient, I was like, oh boy. But then they adjusted real quick and fed JK and got the bus rolling too. Feels like an adjustment they wouldn't do earlier in the season and in previous seasons as well. Yeah, I like to see the diversifying the portfolio as far as the run game goes in this game, even after starting with Ingram early on. Let's maybe cut out all the Ingram nonsense, but they learned from their mistake, it feels like.
They were more efficient in the second half and put some points on the board. The Cowboys had a pick off of a tip ball and then a big return, and those really put them in the game.
That's really the only two things that I think had them in the game. Ben Walks, interesting one. What do you guys think about John Harbaugh as a head coach? I'm not calling for him to get fired or anything. I'm just wondering for your perspective.
He's an executive. He is not a offense guy. He's not a defense guy. He's a culture guy. And one of the things I think that is least understood about what a head coach at any level is like your primary job is you're an orchestrator of practice. You're the top dog that has to assign time to what you find important, whether that's red zone offense, red zone defense, your first stringers going against your second stringers and split field 7-on-7 where it's really 3-on-3. He's an executive, man. He's a president, but I say executive, that's the wrong term because that sounds like it's removed.
CEO is what you're looking for, I think.
I'm looking for something more gritty than that, something more in the cut.
Leader of men.
It might be football coach. It might be general. It might be, whatever.
Yeah, on Madden, they have I don't know if they still do this, but when you start franchise, you get strategist. I don't know what the other one was, and then leader of men is one of them. Harbaugh is the leader of men.
You're the one who decides when and how practice goes, how people act in practice. Guys have paychecks on the line, man. Shit's a little different.
You're running an organization. It's not a fucking video game. You're not just running an offense. You're not just running a defense. You're running an organization. Head coaches, we're not even privy to. It's the same thing with general managers. People think general managers is just signing free agents and drafting a team. You're literally fucking making decisions about real estate if you're a general manager. There's so much stuff that goes into these jobs that we don't understand. And that's not me defending Harbaugh having some tough performances in big games and stuff like that. Clearly there's maybe something there recently. I don't totally agree with all that stuff, but I'm a big Harbaugh fan. And I think he's a steady hand and a consistent face of the franchise type leader that you
I think the best way to put Harbaugh is that if he would have escaped, let's say Lamar lost one more game, Ravens don't make the playoffs in 2018 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He finds a job quick. I think that's the best way to put John Harbaugh.
If he gets fired, another franchise might fire their coach to go and hire him. Ian Rappaport literally put that out there when all that stuff was going around.
Right.
Maybe the year before that. He said, people were hitting me up and saying, are the Ravens going to fire John Harbaugh? Multiple franchises. And he was like, no. They're not planning to. So it just goes to show that, when the demand on a guy is that high, if it's not working out, then it's not working out. But, he's 7-5 right now. So, and this is not even to, go at Ben Walks or anything because he said he wasn't, saying to fire him. Right. There are some people that go into that speculation, oh, man, maybe it's time to move on. No, so you just need a steady hand. Mike, he's literally the same thing as Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin's a great coach. They're great coaches. And
Bisciotti has said multiple times he wants to be like the Steelers and have continuity.
And that's a great, and we hate the Steelers as a team, but that is a great model to model yourself after.
Yeah, plus 25 penalty differential year in, year out. Why would you not want that? But ultimately, are you better with or without John Harbaugh? That's the question.
And some people are okay with the unknown, but the unknown, it goes worse a lot more times than it goes better in the NFL. We've seen that over and over with all these franchises that their solution is to fire a guy. And sometimes that is the right thing to do. But franchises pull trigger on firing a guy.
It doesn't matter about the guy as much to a certain extent as it does the idea of continuity, because it takes years to fully map out. Like Matt Patricia, do you think what he wanted was done? No. And is that his fault? Yes or no? Whatever. But guys who get fired, they're not the end of their journey of figuring out exactly how they want the football team to look like. And they also can't adjust to the extent the ownership wants them to. And that's why John Harbaugh is different. The one knock I have against John Harbaugh at all is that he doesn't want the younger, innovative minds. He wants the Jack Harbaugh coaching tree. He wants guys that he's coached with before or is very familiar with. And once guys who aren't really inspired to take a head coaching job.
I'll sum it up like this. Like, he's a guy who is – this is good in some ways, but in other ways, he's old school to a fault. He believes in the doghouse. He believes in having his guys, and I'm going to stick with.
I think he's moved on from a lot of that, though.
He has, to an extent, but that's where you get like a Marty Mordenweg hanging around for a couple of years. Like, Marty's my guy. I'm going to promote him to offensive coordinator. It's going to be an organic thing. We have a good relationship. And I think he's moved on from the doghouse thing a little bit, but there are other elements where it's like he stays stuck in his old world values, old school things. But that's also part of what makes him good and what I like about him. So you have to take the good with the bad with these coaches. Like, not everyone is Bill Belichick, who, by the way, has his faults as well. Like, we don't have to act like he's a messiah either, even though he's, probably the
terrible first round picks for years.
Yeah, he's just completely punted on the draft for however many times. So every coach has their flaws. You learn to live with them in the fact that they have many positives to draw on. And I think John Harbaugh does have many positives that you can look at. So that is how I would sum it up.
I find that the Ravens have a unique situation where Harbaugh wants coaches that are not necessarily dying to become a head coach. They're more so X's and O's guys. And that the Ravens are able to bring them on, give them a little bit more autonomy, and let them do their fucking thing, what they're passionate about. I think Wink Martindale is a great example. Failed in Denver, horrible defense, ranked in the bottom of the league with no one.
31st at the bottom of the league, man. Wink Martindale.
And how badly do the Broncos wish they had Wink Martindale right now? They have Vic Fangio, who's been outstanding, but
their defense is fucking sick, and they just don't have.
Yeah, how much would you love to have Wink Martindale be the defensive coordinator in addition to Vic Fangio? Like, it's the whole coaching wheel is nepotism, and that's why there's this whole thing going on about them trying to infiltrate that and promote, draft picks for whatever. And I agree with that stuff, but like, I think Harbaugh is a main culprit of being unwilling to find a young, ascending offensive coordinator. He wants Trustman. He wants Kubiak. He wants these guys that are not going to threaten his position. And that's fine because Harbaugh makes the fucking playoffs. But if you don't soon, if you don't make it this year, and that puts you on the hot seat next year if you don't this year.
Especially with the NFL kind of at a little bit of a juncture point with changing towards the spread, changing towards pass every down and like go for it, which, like, by the way, he has, obviously embraced a little bit, but changes afoot as far as the NFL goes. So it's not going to, this whole hire the old guy isn't going to work for too much longer, I don't think.
No, I think it's a bullshit thing to do. I think it's a cop-out. And ultimately, you got the Skip Bayless of the world that are talking one way, talking the other. The Ravens, Orlando Brown yelled, easy money on that last walk-in touchdown. Yep, easy money that DeMarcus Lawrence and Jalen Smith are already making for allegedly playing defense for Dallas.
That's my guy, right?
Skip, you got to be upset for Dez. That's all.
I love Skip.
How do they not let Dez just play, man? How do they not?
You have to listen. You have to follow all the protocols and be safe. This is very important. Listen, our league is all about player safety. That is what our league is about. And our league is going to put the players first and they're going to make Dez Bryant go home, drink some vino, and cry into his phone as he tweets away while the game is going on. He's not allowed to play. Also, Jerry Jones infected him with COVID before the game. We don't have to talk about that, but there's some sort of conspiracy going on. Anna B, once your team sucks, it can't hurt to put Jalen in the game. I'll see myself out. Thoughts on Jalen?
Jalen Hurts. I love me some Jalen Hurts. Carson Wentz. I've done 2 Eagles games so far this year for SIS.
He stinks.
You want a quarterback that can keep their feet shoulder width apart, that can slide like a boxer. That's a big part of it. Being able to slide in and out and stay throw ready, where at any given point they can just use their upper body and rip from their lower body. Something Lamar Jackson does really well, honestly. And Carson Wentz has it. He drops his eyes. He throws into trouble. He doesn't see defenses. I think that MVP year that he had was largely in part to confidence and also having a really strong offensive line, and he doesn't have either of those things. So he's young still. He's experienced success. He knows what it tastes like. But fuck that. I'm going with Jalen Hurts. I agree with that decision.
Yeah, it's time. Wentz needs to go to the Colts under Frank Reich and try to figure something out. Mark Burns, we learned that the Cowboys have a poor run defense and took advantage of it. I think we knew that. Need to keep getting healthy and get consistent pressure on the QB more. I agree. Mike Champagne, the Ravens defense looked like it played well, but gave up 285 passing and several key 4th downs. How does the defense get back on track? They looked far from dominant despite the score. Do you agree with this, first of all?
I think that bad field position on special teams made everything look a little worse, and they also got off the field, I think 3 times. 3 Dallas field goals? 2 of them were missed. So that might make the scoreboard look a little better, but at the same time, they got off the field. Didn't get a pass rush. I don't have a lot of comments to make about that, as is. I'll look at it when I get the actual.
When you hashtag grind the tape.
Grind the tape. Grind it. Yeah.
Because I'm right now. MDLSH2. Please explain why the pick wasn't on Hollywood so people shut the fuck up. Hashtag mailbag. I think I already did that for him, actually, earlier in the show.
I mean, who do you want to it's just playing football. He ran a drag. It skipped off his hands, and the Cowboys picked it off.
It's people fixating on stats a little bit. Lamar Jackson has thrown 11 interceptions this year. He threw 6 all of last season. It's
he's thrown 1 more pick than he did last year.
Average, regular quarterbacks throw 13 picks a year. So there's 4 games left.
Regular quarterbacks throw the ball a lot more too.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's 4 games left. He's probably not going to be much over that number if he even does go over. So he can probably calm down. Matthew
Hall. Greg Roman offenses and Kaepernick, Tyrod Taylor, they don't throw a lot of picks either. It's it's play defense, get advantageous field position, and shove the ball down people's throats. And at this point, I think Lamar could be better through what I've seen, but at the same time, I think that he has not succumbed to his circumstances either. I think he's played better than he could have. He hasn't played as well as he can. And I mean, it's Browns fucking get up for the Browns, get everything up for the Browns, on a Monday night.
Take a big old Cialis Camel and get those bathtubs ready for that Browns game.
And then after that, the Giants, tough one, sure. They're peaking right now. We'll see how that turns out. And then Jags, Bengals, and the last team is escaping me.
No, the Bengals are the last game, I think.
So we got Browns, Giants, Jags, Bengals. Yeah.
Yep.
So fucking do it, man. You got 1 game to get it all together, and the Browns feel like they're peaking. So end it. And
I've known a lot of guys who peaked at certain points in their life that they wish they hadn't peaked at.
exactly.
Matthew Hollister, is it just me or does Marcus Peters look terrible the last month?
Played really, really well against the Steelers. Really well against the Steelers.
Really well.
Yeah.
He played really well. Dan Gold, why does Mark Ingram still get carries when everyone else looks electric?
They are insistent upon it. So fuck that.
Yeah, I think that ship has just sailed. We can stop complaining because that's it. It's over.
He did well on, it was like 2nd and 5 on like the 25, like whatever. Greg Roman likes to impose his will upon the team that he is playing against. He is calling plays against, and stop running Mark Ingram on first down. That's all I've got.
Jay Hopkins, last one from Twitter. Lamar having fun going forward on 4th down, telling the field goal unit to stay off. That's last year's Lamar. That's who we need. It did kind of look like last year. He was shooing the field goal unit off. He was like picking up first downs with his legs, hopping up and like screaming. And the cool part about this year is like with the no crowds, you can hear the players on the you can hear the players on the telecast like what they're saying specifically, and like Lamar pops up and he's like, let's fucking go. And then like he scored the touchdown on the long run, and like Fox immediately cuts the sound because they know he's gonna like yell some like reckless shit. So yeah, he looked good, and that is the Lamar that we need to see down the stretch.
He said, fuck that shit. I'm Lamar Jackson. I'm running power read. If they can stop power read, they can beat us. Let's do this shit. And we don't need to come off the field. We need to win. We need to be dominant. It was confidence. It was clear fucking alpha decision making. 4th and 2. If you have Lamar Jackson and you can't go get it, what's the point? Go home.
First one from the live stream comments. We had a lot of boober bombs, but we don't have to get into that. Ben Rose, this pass rush made me want to drink antifreeze tonight. I personally wouldn't do that, especially considering they won 34-17, which, by the way, I thought I tried to ask you, did you predict 33-17 for this game?
No, I think it was 33-13.
Okay. Garnett West, are they drunk? I think he's talking about us. Are we drunk?
Yeah.
Okay. Ben Rose, why is Greg Roman so addicted to Ingram and his 2-yard runs?
Because it turns him on. It gets him fucking Randy. Last name Savage, bitch. You know I'm not Randy.
He's like Harbaugh is the dude with the shotgun, and Roman is Zed, and he says, bring out the Gimp. And the Gimp is actually running Lamar on first down, or Ingram on first down. WB Caps, Job Bryant, Jordan Katz, Job, like the Bible guy, yes. Called in 4K, as the kids say.
Like the banana stand.
Exactly. WB Caps, the wine made the post-game analysis discussing the wine tweet. All fairness, though, I think Dez is back in. Just had an emotional response off the bat. Realized he loves the team during the game. But Adam Jones, that's where he jumped in. Yeah, Dez had an emotional reaction, which I do not think is outside of the Dez cadre of situation or reactions that could happen in a situation like that. So sounds like he's back in. It's going to be fine. Just had a weird day, and I do not fault him for reacting in the way that he did at all.
I do
not want to put you in tears. So if we need to move on from this,
I love you, Dez Bryant. That's all I have to say.
Tanner Cormack, I am on night shift during the winter months here in Canada. Oh, hey there.
Tanner Cormack, I swear, maybe I'm confusing Ben Walks and Tanner Cormack. One of them is from Canada and one of them is from Texas.
I think that's another Ben that you're thinking of, who is from
pretty
Canada
sure
and Texas.
Pretty sure. Love both of you. Molson's and freaking Spider Scorpion tequila shots will be had between all of us.
And Tim Hortons. He says, I hardly ever get to catch streams or even late games. I super stoked to catch you guys live. Thanks for tuning in. Porch Pirate 52. How do you feel about our defense? I think they're good. I think they had an off night. What do you think?
A lot of Justin Ellis told me that I don't think Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams are healthy. We've talked about Calais Campbell. He is 6'8", 300 and whatever with a calf strain, and that shit's not gone away. He's 34 years old. He's going to play his heart out. He is not at 100%. I like having him better than I like not having him in terms of trying to beat the Browns, but I don't know, man. I don't know what his ankle feels like. I don't know what their ankles feel like, but I would prefer them to be at full strength. It didn't feel like they were. Yannick had a couple nice pass rushes. I fucking hate not having Matt Judon on this team. Really hate not having Matt Judon. He is a hustle tone setter. And say what you want about him, but their defense is deep. I'm actually like pretty proud of the performance that they turned in. I wasn't a part of it, so I don't know why I'm proud necessarily. I am a fan. But Devontae Harris took some snaps. Jimmy Smith wasn't out there. Anthony Averett comes back. Marlon Humphrey does end up letting up a stupid touchdown, but
you're getting healthy, Jim.
I think Chuck Clark and Deshaun Elliott from, we didn't get to see everything yet, but it felt like they were not making any bad decisions. It feels like the safeties haven't had any blown coverages at all. First and foremost, and they also run the alley. Like they run down and fill against run concepts crazy well. So love those two. Curious to see what they can do. Ravens end up finding themselves, 7-5, man. Gotta win out. Gotta win a lot of games from here on out. So it's gonna be fun.
This is being a Ravens fan. Being a Ravens fan is not like, oh, big trust, like, go beat the fucking Rams on the road and doing the little dance. Like, that's not being a Ravens fan. This is being a fucking Ravens fan. We're in the trenches.
Ravens fan, 100%. It was funny. I'm in Ocean City right now. Went to the Green Turtle, OG Ravens spot. Wasn't a ton of people in there. Server.
Did you do any Pizza Two Ghosts right after, or was it a different degree?
I should have. Fuck. Pizza Two Ghosts is way better than it used to be, but
it's right next to it, I think.
Yeah, it is. I should have, but we got food on deck there. But there's a couple people in there. I come in, the server's sitting down by himself, and he's like, "Oh man, did you hear? I'm wearing my Ravens hat." He's like, "Oh man, you hear? Dez Bryant, not playing."
I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm maybe like the most famous Ravens podcaster in the fucking world. So like, if you could not ask me if I heard about that, like, that would be much appreciated.
But he's talking about Dez Bryant. We get into it, and it was good. It was good talk. It was good Ravens talk. It was nice. That was the maximum amount of interaction I've had. I'm used to tailgating and all that fun stuff. And
we'll get back.
It was nice to have a server be able to talk about Dez Bryant a little bit and stay socially distanced and whatever and this, that, and the other. But I miss the good stuff. But at the same time, I understand why we are where we are. So
we'll get back to it. We will get back to it.
We'll get back to it. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. Looking forward to the Ravens being able to do some schoolyard bullshit. I hope Lamar Jackson runs the ball. Honestly, just hope Lamar Jackson runs the ball 80 times in the next 4 games. That's what I want. I think if Lamar Jackson tucks and fucks, the Ravens walk into the playoffs.
Tuck and fuck. WB Caps. So he says 2 football questions, 1 football, 1 not. I feel like we've talked enough football up to this point. So we're going to go right to his non-football question. I'm a whiskey guy, but not going to lie, winter/fall makes me in the mood for a spiked cider. Is that cool? The thing that I've learned about life being in like my mid-20s, like after my early 20s and like college and all that shit, like there's nothing cooler than just doing what you want. So just do what you want. That's what's cool. If you want to drink
like my mid-20s, I'll tell you, there's nothing cooler than getting a snake bite getting a half Guinness, half cider, like a fucking Arnie Palmy. Arnie Palmy. And those are the tits. Get a little bit of both. Drink like a half a loaf of bread, and then you drink a half a loaf of apples. And those get you going.
There you go. That sounds actually fantastic. It's a nice fall drink.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Snakebite is an Irish tradition.
Oh, Ireland, you say? Irish tradition there, Spenny.
I'm surprised. You're a big Guinness guy. I'm surprised you haven't Guinness is best because it's so thick, it layers, so you can actually put a cider on top of it, and it actually layers within a glass, within a mug.
Ah, Spenny.
It doesn't have to be like that, but it is the old Irish
Guinness there. Gonna drink 3 Guinnesses here with my cider, and we're gonna have ourselves a great old St. Paddy's Day. Hopefully have a vaccine inserted into you so you can go out to power plant and get all fucked up on that day. Tanner Cormack, Jake, your Chris Collinsworth impression kills me every time. Thank you. Jordan Katz doing McConaughey. I would assume that's when we were doing McConaughey earlier.
Wookie Nookies, D. Elliott body slammed a dude. I saw the back end of that.
No, he fucked a guy up. I forget who it was, but he had a big hit.
Love it.
In wide open, Hollywood adjusting after his route to help Lamar. Not how I expected our touchdowns. Yeah, kind of weird touchdowns tonight, but good. J.E. Wong having an active night in the chat. Stay sexy, stay active. What's up, boys? Late, but I show up. What are we talking about? I assume he figured that out. He goes on a roll here. Why does Spenny cast from a different spot every show? LOL. Jake always has the same setup, nice and consistent. Spenny be casting from his living room, his couch, his bedroom, his kitchen, his bathroom sink.
It's true.
I'm the producer. I got my studio set up here and everything. I got my soundboard, my second monitor.
Ideally, Jake and I would be in Jake's studio that he's created, but we have shit going on.
There's uncertain times going on right now. We can't be around each other, unfortunately.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. Jake and I would be cracking some dogfish heads, but it is what it is. I am all around town.
You're down in OC right now, anyway.
Down in OC right now, trying to have a little bit of fun, go on the beach, and get some good vibes going. As it's been tough. It's been a tough time over this past. What are we at here? February started. We're in freaking December. It's been 10 months of COVID, man. Wow. But ultimately,
buckle up, Buttercup.
I mean, I got the shits. I was with the shits. I got the shits. It was tough. And that's why I appreciate when kind of some of the Calais Campbells come out and they're like, I wasn't feeling too good. Apparently.
Yeah, can we remember that these are fucking human beings that are like dealing
Fox Fox pregame. Holy shit.
It was
Tony
one
Gonzalez.
One of the most bizarre things I've ever seen.
No. After I think it was Kirk Menifee goes, he's like
Kurt.
He was like, oh yeah, Dez Bryant, no close contacts. Are we sure about that? And it cuts up to a picture of Dez like hugging everybody on the Cowboys. And he was like, all right, well, I don't know how this game's gonna be played. How long? All of them are like, stop talking.
And then Jay was like, I was talking to my sources within the league. Sounds like it's good to go. Talking to guys over in Baltimore, say it's all good. I understand that Mr. Ryan Mink has tweeted out a picture of the sideline there, but listen, guys, it's okay. No close contacts. Gonna have to go on with this game. Love Jay. Gonna need to reach out to Jay, see if we can get him on these.
And then they hushed that one away. The Ravens end up playing. Probably fucking 10 million people watched on a Tuesday night again.
If they had lost this game, the hell that I would be raising about the COVID would know no bounds.
If they lost this game, I would be insufferable. We would not still be recording. I can guarantee you that much. I would be insufferable about everything possibly involved. And they didn't. So thank fucking God. Thank God. I just don't understand how. I don't understand how there's. What are the Ravens? The 8 seed now. At
Yeah.
this point. They're 7-5. And then
Well, they had the tiebreaker. The Colts, who are 1 win ahead of them, it's a 7 seed. So just keep fucking chipping away.
I don't understand how there's 7 teams that have won. So I think the Raiders are the only team that's won 7. They're ahead of the Ravens because of AFC wins. So there's 6 teams that have won 8 games in the first year that they finally expand the playoffs. And it is what it is. So no excuses, bitches. Buckle up. It's going to be a fun fucking ride. This is Baltimore Ravens football. We had the 14-2 last year, and it didn't turn out how you wanted it to. They didn't go walk into a Super Bowl. That shit doesn't happen. Ask Sean McVay. Ask Kyle Shanahan. And let's buckle up and see what they're fucking made of. That's what I'm excited for.
So is that your closing thought? I want to close it out here. We're running on almost 2 hours.
Let's go for it.
Okay. Well, appreciate everyone tuning in. This was a fun episode. It was a win. And that's what's important here. That's what we need to zero in on, is the fact that we were recording after a win for the first time in over a month. It feels good. Feels good to be here. Ravens are 7-5, 4 games left to go. Going to see what happens. Going to have fun the rest of the way. And hopefully better times on the horizon as far as these uncertain COVID times go. But in the meantime, really appreciate everyone tuning in. It's been a weird week. Hopefully this is the last of the strange scheduling situation, and we can kind of get back to where we were at. We were planning on recording on Sunday night for a Monday release for that Monday night game against everyone's favorite Brownies in Cleveland. So stay tuned for that. Go ahead and subscribe to the show if you have not already. Follow it on Spotify, whatever you're using to get your pods. And if you're on Apple, leave us that 5-star rating and review. Really appreciate it if you do that. Check out the website, baltimorebeatdown.com, for all our great written content, and follow us on social media. Twitter is at Podcast Beatdown. You follow me at Jake Luke. That is LOUQE. Spencer is at Ravens4Dummies. That is the number 4 in the middle. And the Instagram is Baltimore_Beatdown. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. Longer episode here, but it was good. It was a fun one, very therapeutic, and great to hop in here after a win for the first time in a while. So appreciate you guys. Hope you have yourselves a tremendous rest of your week, and we will talk to you again very soon.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Peace.